Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Mr. Samip Century and I'm here to help you understand social demography. In this video, I'll be talking to you about migration. So, dear friends, let us begin by defining migration. Migration is the inflow or outflow of people in which they change their residential location for reasons that may be involuntary or voluntary or a mix of both. The movement of people from one place to another influences the population of a region. People may move within the country or from one country to another. Types of migration. Migration is of two types, internal and external migration. An internal migration consists of rural to urban migration and from urban to urban migration. And external migration basically is of two types, that is immigration and immigration. Internal migration, moving to a new residences within a state or a country is called internal migration. And internal migration is of two types. They are rural to urban migration and urban to urban migration. So let us first discuss rural to urban migration. The rural to urban migration is the movement of people from rural areas to urban areas. This caused by a number of factors such as employment opportunities, marriage, better wages, and better social and civic amenities. Marriage is one of the major reasons because of which women migrate to urban areas. However, this is not recorded in the census. People living in villages often engage in jobs in the unorganized sector. There are mostly contract jobs such as laborers and farmers. In cities, people working in the unorganized sector find jobs which provide security and a steady income. In big cities, you will find small juggies made by rural migrants, and education is also an important factor that causes rural to urban migration. Young people often migrate to cities to avail quality educations. Now, urban to urban migration is the movement of people from one urban region to another urban region. People move to new urban areas known as a new town or a overspill town. A new town is a planned urban center created in a rural areas with the help of the government. Navi Mumbai in Mumbai, Lavasa in Pune, and Newton in Kolkata are some examples of new towns. A overspill town is a town that is established to house the excess population of a nearby city. These are also called satellite towns. Manesar, Noida, and Gurgaon are examples of overspill towns. In developing countries like India, the usual urban to rural migration can be explained as: first, the people will move from villages to local small towns, then to big cities. People first migrate from villages or rural areas to local towns, and from local small towns they migrate to better urban regions, that is, the big cities. Urban migration is one of the major reasons for urban sprawl, or rapid expansion of urban areas. Population growth, industrialization, lack of affordable housing, demand for more living space, and transportation are some of the main reasons of urban to urban migration. External migration may be defined as the movement or change of the place of residence from one country to another. This change of residence can be permanent or extended over a long period of time. Most of the time, external migration takes place in a sequence of events within a family or a defined group of people. It is called chain migration. A chain migration often begins with the relocation of a single small family member who then brings other family members to the new location. The clustering of people from a specific region into certain neighborhoods or small towns is a direct consequence of chain migration. The causes of external migration can be economic, political, or familiar. Natural causes such as earthquakes and droughts are also responsible for external migration. Economic conditions are the major reasons of external migrations in the world. International and regional conflicts, civil wars, and poverty also lead to migration of people from one country to another. So, when a person leaves the country of residence and moves to another country, it is called immigration. And when a person enters a new country, it is called immigration. Please note the difference between the spelling, that is immigration and immigration. And immigration with I are the people who move from their native countries to a new country. Countries such as Australia and Canada have a large number of migrant populations. Let us talk about causes of migration. See, migration is caused by a number of reasons that are categorized as pull and push factors. The push factors are conditions of the original places of living of the people. These are the reasons that make people move out of particular geographical region, and the pull factor are the conditions or circumstances of the new places that attracts the people to settle there. Poverty and lack of employment opportunities are example of push factor, and other are like better infrastructures and educational institutions are also examples of certain pull factors. And let us discuss some other causes of migration. And those are the geographical causes, the economic causes, and the political causes. Now, discussing geographical causes briefly, you can see that the people migrate because of geographical reasons, and such as unavailability of fertile land and harsh terrain. And have you ever heard about the Magyar tribes? They were the people who once lived in the mountainous regions of the Urals until they migrated to present-day Hungary. And similarly, many agricultural communities who could not make a living in their own country because of shortage of land or infertile land, they migrated to the regions where they could find fertile lands. And in the 19th century, there witnessed that many such migrants, European farmers, migrated to the United States of America and Australia and New Zealand and South America in search of farms or huge plots of land for cultivation because they were landless peasants. And further, talking about economic causes, the economic causes are the unemployment is one of the major important reason why people migrate to different places within their country or travel overseas. Workers also move to other countries to earn more, and people move to more developed industrial countries in search of jobs that provide higher wages. The another cause for migration is the political cause. And throughout history and even in the recent years, we have seen people move out of their countries, and due to political unrest or political persuasion. The First World War and the Second World War caused migration of a large number of people. The Indian subcontinent witnessed a large migration during the partition of India, and refugees either from war or conflict zones or from politically oppressed regions are also forced to migrate to safer regions in order to save their lives. And in the world today, a large number of people from Syria have taken refuge in Turkey, as you can see in the figure itself. Now, after the causes of migration, let us move on to the impacts of migration. As we know that migration occurs because of certain push and pull factors. People migrate to regions that have more opportunities and resources and move out of place that lacks opportunities and resources. The impact of the movement of people is very significant, and it changes a region economically and socially and culturally and politically and demographically. The consequences of migrations are both positive and negative, and let us find out more about the impacts of migration. So, the impacts of migrations are economic, social, demographic, and environmental impacts. Further, let us briefly describe this each impacts in details. Talking about economic impacts, when migration takes place, it affects both regions of origin and the region of which people migrate. Reduced unemployment in the region of origin is one of the positive outcome of migration. Immigration of people impacts the human resources of the region, and new skills and talents is a boost to the economy of a region. When people migrate, they send money to their families, and very interestingly, you can see that this money is called remittance, and this remittance is a important source of foreign exchange for a country. So remittance received from external migration of people play an important role in the growth of the economy of the source area, and most of this money is reused for education, agriculture, and construction purposes. And internal migration also brings in remittance, but these are meager. These are very less in number. And migration of people decreases the shortage of labor as well. Skilled labor from different countries can be very beneficial for the economy of the country as well. So these are the economic impacts of migration. So further, let us talk about social impacts. See, social change is an inevitable outcome of migration. Migration leads to the intermixing of the people of diverse culture. This is beneficial for the society as ideas and thoughts from different cultures create a broad outlook among people. The acceptance of migrations by the natives is an issue that can bring about a positive or negative change in the society. And sometimes migrants face dejection within the society, which in turn gives rise to the other social evils. And this some of these evils can be like communism and those sort of things. Uh, See, migration causes the redistribution of population as well, uh, and changes the demography of a region. So let us focus on the demographic impact. So internal migration leads to the expansion of towns and cities. Urban sprawl is a direct consequence of internal migration. External migration leads to depopulation, especially in developing regions. Migration increases the population of the developed nation. And the countries such as the United States, Australia, and New Zealand have a huge migrant population. And Lastly, we may also talk about the environmental impacts. Environmental impacts of migration are um, much more greater, because environmental deterioration is probably the biggest negative aspect of migration. Migration causes overcrowding of the urban region, which also puts a huge pressure on the resources and infrastructure of a place. And overexploitation of natural resources, such as fossil fuels, also affect the environment adversely. With this, we have come to the last section, that is the brain drain. One aspect of external migration in modern times is the movement of highly qualified or skilled people outside of the country. And in the recent years, skilled workers have moved to foreign countries for better opportunities and high standard of living, which acts as a pull factor and leads to their migration. And with this, a considerable number of software engineers, management personnels, medical practitioners, and even teachers have migrated to the places like the Middle East, the United Kingdom, Canada, and the United States for jobs. And this type of migration is called brain drain, as it takes away a chunk of well qualified human resource who are valuable to the source country. But brain drain is a major concern for developing countries like India. And over the years, many skilled and talented young people from India have moved to the Western countries, primarily Europe and the United States. Let us quickly recapitulate what we had done today. The movement of people from one place to another is called migration. There are two kinds of migration, that is internal migration and external migration. Internal migration leads to development of town and cities, and external migration leads to depopulation. With this, we have come to the end. And for those who would like to learn more, watch my other videos. And for more infos and updates related to sociology and topics on social demography, subscribe my channel. And remember, knowledge is as vast as ocean, and more you acquire, more it remains to be acquired. So keep learning.